Hey guys, it's time for another relatively quick shave with a slurry lather method and some gear that we're going to, for the second time, try that method with this vegan soap base from Holy Cow. It worked pretty well before, but let's just confirm. I think I used a small boar brush with it, this little guy, and he's so sparse on the inside that that kind of, I don't think it set the soap base up in a good light, because it did take a little bit of refreshing to kick it back up. We're going to use a new brush to the slurry lather method. This is a Stirling, I believe this is a Stirling Finest. That one that's about the $32 price point, and it's the bulb shape. I think I like the fan shape of that knot better. We're going to try the bulb shape. It's been soaking for a while, and I did take it out of the handle that it came in, and I put it in a CravingShaving handle that I bought, and I really like the ergonomics of it. I'll show you that more in detail in a minute. I'll get that back in the water. As we know, the slurry lather method is all about coming at the whole shave in the beginning with a lot of water in the brush and with the soap and all that. With the, what is this called? Pearl shaving? Flexi, the Pearl Flexi from India. And it's a one of the new adjustables to come out of the last couple of years that has really good materials. It's got plating, of course, but and it's a few layers of plating, but at the core it's brass. That's also why it's a little bit heavy. And so it's going to last a long time, you know, almost certainly. Kind of like those Gillette Slims and Fat Boys and those types of razors. So this guy's got some use on it. 12 uses or so is approximately. This is the 7 o'clock black super platinum. With the Pearl Flexi, we just, like many of the two pieces, you just unscrew the bottom. I haven't used one like this in a long time. So many of mine are like the Carve and the Wolfman and Tech and the Timeless, where the handle screws into the head, and you just have to look at it a little bit to make sure it's straight. And what did I shave at last time? A 4. I've got 2 days to take down, but you know, let's take it down to like a 3. All right, get my face wet. All right, then it's time to load the soap. This one has a little bit of residual water in it from the last use, but not a lot. It did have a long period of non-use. So we're going to, this knot holds a lot of water. So unlike that little boar brush, we don't really need to try to hold, look at all, even just gravity is taking away that much water. We don't need to try to keep a bunch of water in there. More than you really want to. So we can give that a couple of shakes, I think, and that's probably good. And we're going to use our method where we lather up, we work and load until it's kind of overflowing the sides. And I'm going to let that overflow go into my little lather bowl there. 1, 2, 3, 4. It did start overflowing at about 30, but it was kind of a wet overflow, and I wanted to maybe see if it would be better if I gave it more time. Nice, fresh, kind of grassy type scent. Not grass, but it's like florals, but it's not feminine, you know, kind of a green scent. Maybe it's vetiver or something like that. I don't quite know how to label this particular scent. All right, and then we just go right to my face. So this is a Badger brush that is dense, not ultra high density. Well, it feels like I'm gonna need to go back to the soap and get some more. I could just tell that it's not. If you do come to the soap with more water than you should, then that overflow technique is not going to work very well because it won't give you enough load time before it starts overflowing. The reason I'm using this brush today is, and there we go. Well, you can tell there's plenty of water still in the brush, is because it's a kind of a stiff badger. The tips are fairly soft. They still have a little natural feel to them, but the bleaching process has made them more comfortable. But they're not jelly by any means. And this was a weird experience with this brush because when I got it from Stirling, it felt so much, it just felt like it had so much less backbone than it does after those first couple of uses, and I don't know why that happened. Well, this is a good combo. It's just screaming right through. 2 days of growth. Not quite like butter. I can feel it cutting, you know. I can feel the blade edge, but it's not, it's almost just like a, hey, I'm there, but don't worry about me. As long as you don't go sideways across your throat, you're not going to have any problems with me. There we go. Splash of water. Kind of rinse away the stubble and check your lather hydration, whether how much soap you've got remnant kind of on your face. There we go. There's some water. I really like this handle. CravingShaving, for a while there years ago, they really issued a good many handles that were long and ergonomic, you know, and that's my cup of tea. So I bought a few. Whenever one that he had looked like I wanted that one. Pretty good price back then too. Not as bad as some other of the premium handle makers, but you know, just super solid. Okay, there we go. So I did have to go back and load some more. Was that a fault of the brush? I don't think so. I think that was because maybe this brush held more water than I thought. And so that's, remember I told you it started to suds up at 30. But I wanted to go to 40 because it maybe looked too thin. Well, that's what I'm talking about here. I just kind of had an instinctual knowledge that was probably going to need to be more. And the 40 swirls wasn't quite enough. But we went back maybe 20 swirls on the soap right quick, and we're good. That's the nice thing about this method is if you make a mistake or something, it's just, you know, add a bit of water, go back to the soap for a little bit. You're not trying to rebuild your lather because you're working with that slurry that is so quick to put together. Third pass now, and I know I'm going to get a nice close shave today. This is a bit of a heavy razor. That's really the only reason why, the only caveat, you know, where I would tell you maybe think twice about buying it. But honestly, it's really quite good. Now I think the price by the time you have it shipped to you is $100 or something like that. But they Maggards, I think, might be. I know they were carrying them at one point, carrying some of the pearl razors. So that could save you on the shipping because I think it's more like 50 or 60 without the shipping. And I paid India shipping. I bought mine before the before Maggard picked them up. All right, let's do a good rinse now. And I've got a nice shave today. So that load it till it froths over the edge idea that I had seems to generally work until you come at it with a brush that can hold a lot of water and you haven't shaken enough out. And that's what happened today. After the shave, I'm trying to use up my balms, like Stirling Mountain Man right here. I've got a bunch of Stirling balms. I do have splashes and that sort of thing too. I'm not really aching to try to use up little standard big box balms like this Aqua Velva Sensitive 5-in-1. It's a great balm if you have dry skin. But that's easily obtained, right? The Stirling is a little bit more expensive. And so I want to make sure I use those up. My Barrister and Man one that I used the other day. And these kind of milks. Now this is one with from Mickey Lee Soapworks. And they went out of business a few years ago. And it was, a lot of people were sad about that, including me, because they were great people. And several of their scents were just really good. Their soap base was kind of the old school type, like chiseled face. And this is a milky, as you can see through the clear bottle. I don't guess I need to show it too much through my hands. But it's a milky type toner. Sometimes they even call it like shave milk or aftershave milk. The Pantie Dropper is the scent. And that is inspired by a dupe of dang it, was it something like Tommy Hilfiger? A super popular, crazy popular scent at one point. Probably not now. Maybe Tommy Hilfiger. I can't remember. But it smells nice. And it's a great option on your skin if you have reactions to alcohol splashes that can be a little too intense for you. Then finding a toner like Thayer's Witch Hazel Aloe type, like the Lucky Tiger, chamomile, that kind of thing, calendula, and ones like this. You're not going to be able to find too many of the milks. However, the aftershaves from Southern Witchcrafts are very good, and they are more of a toner base as well, a toner type. And man, the scents that Stephen and Courtney put together are very interesting and creative, and just smell really good to me, almost all of them. So that's another one if alcohol splashes are a little too strong for you. So this is just a really enjoyable handle. In terms of ergonomics, it does actually get a little more narrow. This is the one I really kind of learned that, you know, when you're holding it like knob style like this, a narrow part right here, I'll call it the saddle, it can be quite small, but usually when I'm working a shave brush, especially when I'm in the bowl with it, then if it's too narrow here, then that makes this bulbous part kind of a ramp, so that when you squeeze, it presses your fingertips into here instead of kind of allowing the pressure to be evenly distributed amongst your fingers in a comfortable way. And so during the shave, no big deal, because I'm not trying to press too hard on my face. I don't really notice that fingertip extra pressure. But boy, when I'm trying to give the brush a good rinse, like I was just now after the shave, then I can feel that. Nevertheless, I enjoy this handle, and so in general, and so I think I'm going to move it to a knot that I enjoy more than I do this one. This is a nice little knot if you like a little bit of backbone. I like the tip feel. It's not too firm for me, and so if it just had a little bit more backbone, I think I've set it about as high, as lofted it as about as high as it'll go. Sometimes that'll help you with backbone. And so I don't think I'll have anything to gain by resetting the knot in this same handle. But anyway, it's a good brush if you like a little bit of backbone, like a lot of people do. And the tips aren't overly jelly. Another nice thing, a little side item there. If you've only got a few brushes, then you're going to use them regularly. And if you have one that's very jelly, then in several years, it could die on you. Now, maybe you're fine with that because it'll last you I mean, that'll give you a lot of enjoyment for the money you paid for it. But a brush like this that has been gel treated, the bleach and stuff, but not overly so, I don't think these tips are going to see any damage, maybe ever. And because of that treatment, I think it was, with that natural feel, I think it's one that'll be a lifetime knot. Yeah, that's a good smell. I don't think it was Sauvage. It may be Tommy Hilfiger. It may be Drakkar Noir or something. You know, something in that era is what it is. What this splash, this toner is based off of. I don't think it smells dark enough to be Drakkar though. So that was the fact that I had to maybe not load as much as I should have because the water, too much water in the brush was causing it to overflow. And so, yeah, I feel like pronouncing the Holy Cow vegan base as compatible with the slurry lather method, like pretty much every soap I've tried so far, it has been a success. So that's good. Move on to something else. Dr. John's is on my list in the future. I'm going to do the old school Perazzo, you know, or the ubiquitous Perazzo, rather, I should say. I'm going to look at Saponaficio Veracino as well. And we've got a handful of other, still haven't tried Southern Witchcrafts. We talked about them in today's video. I still need to grab one of their soaps and use it. But since I've tried so many now and haven't really found any that are not compatible with the slurry lather method, then I'm pretty confident that they're all going to be. No worries there. I think that will be it, my friends. This is Sugar Daddy Shaves. Thanks for watching. Appreciate you. Have a good night.